Welcome back to the sanctuary of clarity, the single corner of the internet where we brush away the dust of gossip to reveal what truly glows beneath it. You are watching Whispers of Turkish Stars. If the last few weeks have left you waking with a weight on your chest, refreshing your feeds only to find the sky darkened by merciless speculation, then today is the first shaft of morning after a long, stubborn night. For those who hold dear the rare connection between Gökberk Demirci and the luminous Özge Yağız, this past month has felt like breathing in a room with the windows shut. We've been living in a pressure cooker of what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. But listen closely, the air is changing. This is not a tale of anonymous insiders, blurry leaks, or nameless voices keeping the rumor mill spinning. This is about a voice that carries weight stepping into the light with unwavering certainty. A figure positioned at the center of the private circle, a guardian of the home fire, has spoken, and with a few carefully chosen words, he has shifted the path of what everyone thought they understood. Today on Whispers of Turkish Stars, we are examining the intervention that snapped a narrative back into place. We are unpacking the words of a father who rose to shield his son, and watching a family tie bind tighter than any headline could pull apart. Before we walk through that doorway, let me ask you, the heartbeat of this channel, can love endure without the blessing of family, or is that blessing the final piece that locks the puzzle? If you appreciate these slow, cinematic dives into the lives of the stars you adore, make sure you're subscribed to Whispers of Turkish Stars. And if you want to support independent storytelling and be part of our private community conversations, the join button waits below. Your support is the spark that keeps our lamps glowing. Now let's exhale together and listen. To grasp the scale of what unfolded today, we have to honor the turbulence we have just survived. The entertainment space was flooded with a manufactured squall aimed straight at the bond between Gökberk Demirci and Özge Yağız. It was a parade of engineered provocations. Feeds and glossy covers overflowed with a script steeped in toxicity. We were told of jealousy spirals that supposedly spun beyond control. We read of ambition so blinding it erased tenderness. Each sunrise greeted a fresh batch of declarations that their fairy tale had ended mid-sentence, that a breakup lurked at the doorstep, or worse, had already been signed and sealed far from prying eyes. The storyline would not let up, success had become a wall, misunderstandings had usurped warmth. Fans felt an honest fear that this steady drip of falsehoods could wear grooves into something precious. Who wouldn't wonder whether such noise could press against private life hard enough to cause an actual crack? In our anxiety, we forgot a simple truth: roots sunk deep do not bend for passing winds. Just when the midnight seemed densest, the light appeared, and it didn't come from a studio lamp or a PR-crafted memo. It emerged from the calm of a family home. The protagonist of this shift does not wear celebrity-like armor, does not thrive on applause, and has no use for the glitter's false promises. We're speaking of the father of Gökberk Demirci. A gentleman from another era, a steady patriarch who watches with quiet eyes and loves without theatrics. He has long chosen dignity over spectacle, privacy over performance. But when he sensed that his son's happiness and the reputation of the woman his son loves were being pulled through a carnival of fabrications, he rose with unwavering composure. Exhausted by the lies, tired of his family name dredged through speculation sludge, he chose to step into the open. He didn't lead with anger, he led with protective love, the kind that flips the power switch on the noisy machine. In a deliberate, exclusive conversation given solely to close the curtains on a farce, he spoke with a clarity that stilled the air. With the quiet power of someone anchored in truth, he said, "I've seen too many stories invented for screens, and I can't remain silent. I know my son's heart better than anyone. Gökberk would never walk away from Özge, she is the counterpart of his soul." Pause with me and let those words settle. The counterpart of his soul. He didn't choose girlfriend, he didn't even settle for partner. He reached for language that feels almost sacred, words that read like a vow. In a culture where family bonds are revered and the voice of an elder carries the deepest moral weight, a father's affirmation like this outshouts entire armies of publicists. It isn't a statement, it is a blessing. It marks this love not as a chapter in Gökberk's story, but as the spine that holds it together. And he did not stop there. Aware of the poisonous whispers about supposed friction between Özge and the Demirci family, he anchored her place with his next breath. "Özge is not just my son's partner," he said softly. To us, she is already a daughter. She is sincere, warm, and my son's love for her has no measure. Those words strike at the heart of every rumor that tried to wedge a wall between families. To call her a daughter is to unbolt the most protected door, it is to welcome her beyond the threshold and into the lineage. It is acceptance without asterisks. This is a moment that flips the script the media tried to sell you. It reminds us that real life unfolds around a dinner table, not in the echo chamber of timelines. Tell me, how did you feel hearing this? Did you exhale? Share it in the comments, we read everything. And if this careful unpacking brings you clarity, hit the like button, it helps us find others who are done with the noise. If you wish to help us keep digging, becoming a channel member through the join button makes you essential to our work. We appreciate you more than you know. The father's intervention reached its most tender pitch not in a grand pronouncement, but in a quiet private memory we'd never have seen on our own. He shared a small scene from days ago, in the family garden. Picture the hour when the late sun turns leaves to coins of gold, a soft breeze threading through the branches, and two people close together on a simple bench. I saw them holding hands and speaking about the future, he said, the smile audible even in the telling. There was a light in their eyes that cannot be faked. The way they looked at each other told me that, in that exact moment, nothing and no one could force them apart. This wasn't a promo shot from a drama. It was the quiet truth of two people at home, their world pared down to a bench, a conversation, and a father standing a few steps away, witness to a love that doesn't perform for cameras. It proves their bond lives in the stillness, far from the roar. The impact was instant and visceral. Cameras found Gökberk Demirci as he stepped out after a long, wearying day on set. The hours had clearly weighed on him, production resting squarely on his shoulders. But when reporters relayed his father's words, those watching noticed a real shift. His eyes softened with emotion and pride, the tension of the last weeks slipping off like a coat in warm weather. With a faint smile that changed the night, he confirmed it all. My father is my compass, he told them, his voice carrying a tremor that revealed gratitude's depth. He has always understood me. If he says I won't leave Özge, it's because that's the simple truth. Özge is my fate and my haven. Don't let the inventions fool you, we are happier than ever. To call someone your haven is to name them your shelter, it means she is the place he can return when the world goes loud. In one sentence, he built a protective wall around their life. And how did Özge Yağız respond? Poised as always, she couldn't help but shine when she was reached soon after. The assurance that the family of the man she loves stands with her is a prize beyond any cover or award. With the grace that has always set her apart, she said, feeling the embrace of Gökberk's family is the most meaningful gift to me. His father is a wise man, and I respect him deeply. His words gave me strength. The bond between us cannot be broken. Hear that, cannot. Not fragile. Not conditional. Unbreakable. She affirmed their love and honored the tradition, showing reverence for his family. In doing so, she shut the door on the manipulative narrative that tried to pit home against heart. She did not ask to be allowed in, she stood there as part of the foundation. But this story doesn't end with sound bites on a curb. Our most trusted sources say that after the rush of public feeling, an intimate dinner took place. A small family gathering organized to thank the father whose voice sliced through the fog. Imagine the room, a table laid with care, plates sending up the familiar fragrance of home, glasses meeting, hands clasping longer than usual. The atmosphere felt like justice after a tough match. It was a shared relief, a promise reaffirmed. At one point, we're told, all eyes turned to the head of the table as Gökberk raised his glass. Meeting his father's gaze, he said, "Thank you for reminding the world how completely I love this woman." It wasn't a toast to publicity, it was a vow renewed for the only audience that matters. The magazines trying to wedge them apart have had to step back and taste their own words. Gökberk isn't leaving Özge, and Özge isn't leaving Gökberk. As his father reminded us, he knows his son's heart, and that heart beats steady for her. They're not just a favorite pairing or two shining careers intersecting, they are a family in formation, learning, protecting, celebrating together. That is what endures. That is what survives the weather. And as for what lies ahead? the horizon looks bright. With a father's blessing and fans who held the line, the road unwinds steady and clear. Perhaps that bench conversation in the garden whispered of plans, a home to call entirely theirs, roots planted where a return is always possible. Whatever shape it takes, they will build it on firm ground, the same ground they defended with such grace these weeks. Thank you for joining us to celebrate this victory of truth on Whispers of Turkish Stars. If this story restored your faith a little, share your thoughts in the comments and let us know what part touched you most. And remember, if you value independent storytelling that treats its subjects with respect, tapping that join button is the best way to help us keep going. Until next time, trust the roots, not the wind, and keep your ears tuned to the whispers that matter.